Coca Cola is one of the few beverage companies and possibly the only one that sells beverages in 200 countries around the world. The ticker symbol for this stock is KO. The revenue and expenses graph is where we want it to be. The revenue is growing except in 2020 because of the shutdown, and the expenses are growing normally with the revenue. The free cash flow is growing amazingly until last year, but the reason for this decline in free cash flow in 2022 is not a story of business decline. I think it's a story of a change in conducting their business. So when we look at the financial statements and specifically the cash flow statement, in the operating activities section, the net change in operating assets and liabilities stands out as the item contributing for having less operating cash flow in 2022. It is negative 605 million in 2022, while it was positive 1.3 billion in 2021. And in this annual report, Coca-Cola has provided more details about this item on page 197. We can see that the accounts payable and accrued expenses changed from 2.8 billion in 2021 to only 759 million in 2022. This means that in 2021, the company had more expenses on credit, or in other words, they didn't pay for it in cash in 2021 and they will pay for it later. This delay in paying cash for the expenses easily increased the operating cash flow and therefore the free cash flow, as we can see in this case. So in my opinion, the decline in free cash flow in 2022 doesn't worry me too much. Going back to the analysis report and looking at the debt is relatively high because it's 40% of total assets. And it seems that the management feels the same thing because they are working on reducing it since 2020. It was 47% in 2020, 42% in 2021, then 40% in 2022. Coca-Cola doesn't have a problem servicing the debt because in 2022 they made 16 times the interest expense they had to pay. Looking at the outstanding shares, the change in the outstanding shares is not material, so it does not have an impact on this analysis. Coca-Cola is a dividend company, and in 2022, they distributed $1.76 per share, making the dividend yield 2.9%. Now we can move on to forecast 2023 numbers and find the intrinsic value of the stock. In my opinion, using the cash and the inventory turnover help us to accurately forecast 2023 revenue, and I assume it to be $45.8 billion. The free cash flow to revenue ratio in 2022 is 22%, and I will use the same ratio. This will give us about 10 billion in total free cash flow. Dividing that by the outstanding shares and discounting it by 2.5% since we are halfway through the year, and using 5% return investment ratio, in my opinion, the intrinsic value of the stock is $45.50. This means that it's currently overvalued by about 34%. I know many people like Coca-Cola Company, so I'm interested to know what you think about this analysis. Please let me know in the comment section below. And if you want to watch more videos like this one, please consider subscribing to motivate me to make more videos.